This is going to be a starseed reading for the Sirians for October 2025. Okay, so we got 30 and 32. I'm going to read 32 first because that one was the first one to come out. Judgment. If you have drawn this sigil, your negative judgment in this scenario is making it impossible to get the result you want. To have a perspective at all, you must judge. To even call a clock is to judge it as a clock and thus restrict its potential energy to that of a clock. We judge. That's what people do, and judgment, like any tool, can be beneficial to you or harmful to you depending on when and how it is used. We all have a perspective about each other. If you have an opinion, you have judged. Trying not to have an opinion defies life. It is the flexibility or openness of the opinion that makes the opinion either more or less painful. And it is our perspectives and individual preferences that fuel universal expansion. Hearing other people's honest perspectives can be very beneficial to our growth and to the expansion of the universe. A great many people try to get rid of all judgment in themselves. This is neither beneficial nor possible. However, noticing and changing your painful judgments, the ones that seek to push something away from you, as well as developing a flexibility in your perspective, is beneficial. If you've drawn this sigil, what you must first understand is that it is painful to negatively judge and disapprove of something for both the giver of the criticism and the receiver. In holding a negative judgment, we must match the frequency of our negative judgment, and so we hold ourselves as well as the receiver in a low vibrational chokehold. This is what we do when we try to push away anything in a universe based on the law of attraction. We do nothing but vibrationally join the thing that we are pushing against. It becomes included in our vibration. This is why many teachers and guides will tell you not to accept any negative judgment within yourself and instead adopt the policy that if you don't have something nice to think or say, don't think or say anything at all. But this is neither practical nor useful, and it puts a muzzle on a part of you that very much needs your attention and care. Becoming aware of your own judgments opens the door for growth, and sharing your honest opinion or experience, even if that opinion or experience is not positive, provides others the opportunity for growth. When we make judgments about situations, we believe behavior is due to something in a person's situation without fully understanding that person's situation. For example, we may judge someone as irritable because they are on their period, when in fact, it is because of something that we did to irritate them. When we make judgments about a person's character or personality, we believe their behavior is due to aspects of their personality, when often it isn't. Our brains are wired to make automatic judgments. We move through the world quickly discerning. We do not spend time or energy on understanding everything we perceive. Hang on, my cat would like to go outside. Okay, my apologies. Okay, 30. That was the other one that you got. Short-term thinking. If you have drawn this sigil, you are falling into the trap of short-term thinking. You are not thinking and doing things with the long-term implications in your mind, and this will come back to bite you. People tend to have a strong preference for immediate payoffs as opposed to delayed payoffs, even when the long-term payoffs far outweigh the short-term ones. This may be leading you to making choices that your future self would prefer you had not made. The bottom line is, if we are making decisions for the future or making choices for right now, we will often make different decisions. Our world is littered with examples of unintended consequences that are the result of short-term thinking. A woman might want to feel the belonging and love and approval relative to a man who is showing her sexual interest, and so she does not use contraception in the short term, and thus does not consider the consequence of pregnancy in the long term. People may love the instant reward and also avoidance of emotional pain inherent in gambling. In that moment, they are not thinking about the consequences of squandering all their money away. In ancient Rome, a group of men loyal to the Republic feared that Julius Caesar was going to establish a monarchy and establish permanent rulership. In 44 BC, they decided to assassinate him, thereby restoring the Republic in the short term. In the ensuing chaos and absence of leadership, Caesar's great-nephew, Octavius, quickly assumed power and permanently ended the Republic by establishing a de facto monarchy. After Caesar's death, it became obvious that he was killed to eradicate an immediate perceived threat. But the plan wasn't well thought out because Caesar had never intended to create a monarchical system in the first place. The long-term consequence were that by making decisions for the short term, the conspirators brought about exactly what they had tried to prevent. And 51 was the third one that you got. Belief. In this situation, it is a belief that you are not seeing clearly enough that is in charge of you at this time. There is nothing more dangerous than a belief. A belief is a cognitive bias. A belief can cause someone to start a war, kill themselves, ruin a relationship, never go for what they really want, or do all the wrong things for themselves or someone else, thinking that what they are doing is right. This list goes on and on. If a thought is repeated often enough, we usually end up believing it to be true. We adopt beliefs from people who adopted those beliefs from other people, who adopted them from other people. With so many of our beliefs, we do not even know their origins. We don't actually know if the beliefs we hold are accurate or not. And we tend to believe things because many other people do. We construct beliefs due to our experiences. These beliefs are stories we tell ourselves to make sense of things. But yet again, we don't know whether or not these beliefs are accurate, and yet we live our lives according to them. We also tend to search for and only see information that confirms the beliefs we already have. We hold on to beliefs long after they have been disproven. If we are presented with two ideas, one that is difficult to understand and process, and one that is easy to understand and process, we tend to believe that the idea that is true is the one that is easier to understand and process. Because if it is easier to understand and process, it must be true. This means so much information abounds in our lives, and we are operating in such a cognitively limited way that we often cannot see the truth of a given situation. When you are in a situation that is causing you to experience strong negative emotion, you have the perfect opportunity to discover your negative core beliefs. You can do this by chasing every statement you have with two questions. Why would that be a bad thing? What would it mean if that were true? Okay. Sirians for October 2025. As you receive soul guidance, spending time to focus on your soul's needs, making time for activities that contribute to your spiritual growth and psychic development. If you feel that you've always wanted to do something, but never made the effort, you should do it this month. Could be something random, could be something strange, just off the wall, different. Maybe everybody's always told you, no, don't do that, that's stupid. Maybe it's not stupid. Psychic touch. Energy is everywhere. You radiate energy, leaving traces of your presence everywhere. Psychometry is the practice of using items infused with someone's energy, enabling you to gain past and present information about that individual. Items like jewelry, clothing, or even a chair can have a strong presence in someone's energy, a bit like a psychic imprint. Sit with someone and ask to hold an item of importance. Open your awareness and allow your consciousness to connect with the item. When working with spirit, it's important to bring in evidence that can be validated to confirm the message you give. Reach out to spirit and see if you can connect with a name that's significant. When practicing with mediumship, don't be afraid to share every little detail of what you're receiving. You'll be surprised by the validation you may receive. You can also practice this technique with an object belonging to someone living. So if you're trying to find details about something, I don't know, maybe you should try it. Sirians for October 2025. So you have peace on top of the deck here. So once you go through this change of perception and this leading to a change of certain things in your life, adjustment and strife came out, but I don't really feel like strife is in actual suffering. What I really feel is you're just putting in work to you're putting in work to change your perspective, but that's also going to cause you to put in work to change the things that are going to change around you. The way you make choices is going to change. It's going to lead to other life changes that are positive, and then with peace on top of the deck and death underneath that, so an ending to just things that no longer serve you, perspectives that no longer serve you, maybe even a friend group that no longer serves you. It's almost like you pick a flower off of a branch and all these other flowers fall, but because of that, new flowers can grow. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. Hopefully that helps, and I hope you have a good October.